Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members of the patrons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it, guys. So today I wanted to talk about the East Germany's Air Force and what is left to actually be added to War Thunder. If you don't know, which a lot of people don't, and I have a video about it, flying it, the Su-22M4 was added to Germany, and with that, basically the last Soviet aircraft to be added to the German Tech tree is added. There's basically nothing else that it's Soviet made that needs to be added. Of course, I'm excluding some versions of MiG-21s and minor things like a MiG-19 PM, because they use the S and the PM, which was a cannonless, only being riding missile armed MiG-19, right? So kind of useless to the game, right? There were some other variants of the MiG-17. It's hard to actually find which ones. And of course there are many trainers, you know, MiG-21 UMs and MiG-29 UBs and others that were used by the East German Air Force. But to be honest, there isn't much of a place for any of these aircraft. Apart from maybe a MiG-21 F-13 if they ever add it, maybe a MiG-21 PFM, but we already have it as the SPSK, right, that was removed from the store. We might see that in a tech tree or anything like that, I don't know. Aircraft that are already in the game, but just different variants to like fill it up a little bit if they want to. But I doubt that we will see anything like that, right? So, to be honest, I think the Su-22M4 will be the last Soviet-made aircraft in the German tech tree. And yeah, there's nothing else to be added. Apart, well, actually for one specific aircraft, which is quite a funny one, which is the L-39. The L-39 was actually used by the Soviet Air Force and also by the East German Air Force. It was basically a trainer. A very low-speed trainer, you know, subsonic trainer. It doesn't have an afterburner or anything like that. It's very similar to other aircraft of the time, you know, or even some afterwards. Like you can compare it to some of the Italian trainers. You can compare them to the Hawk later. You know, there are many trainers that can be added in the future. And yes, the East Germans actually used one version of that, you know, and even though it's, I mean, a socialist aircraft, if you will, it's not a Soviet one. So, and even if you consider it as a Soviet one, I mean, it's a Czechoslovakian one, but still, even if you consider as a Soviet one, if you will, or a socialist one, it's basically the last one. I mean, it's pretty much what it is, right? It would carry some unguided rockets, some cannon pods, maybe some R-60s or anything like that. They use the ZO variant, which is basically a weapon trainer variant for export, you know. So it could carry some bombs. And in the Soviet service, the ZA, I think it was, it actually used R-60s. I don't know if the actual German one used any, you know, R-60s or R3Ss or anything like that, but still, there's basically, that's it, which is quite sad, to be honest. It really is quite sad. It is a nation, or part of a nation, if you will, that was very much leading the evolution of the German tech tree for a while now, and after the 1990s, you know, after 89, sorry, and what became of the Soviet bloc on the early 90s, basically no other Soviet or Russian aircraft are ever used for the Germans. So I don't think anything else will be added after the MiG-29, to be honest, or even after the Su-22M4. And even to be honest, if you're going to talk a little bit about the German tech tree in general, there isn't much to be added at all, right? We have the F4F ICE, which would be an upgrade for the existing F4F, but probably will be added as another aircraft in rank 8, just like the Kronos 2000 is, you know, added as a more advanced F4, right? And then there's the Typhoon, the Eurofighter. And then that's pretty much it. We don't know what is going to happen in the future of the German Air Force exactly, but there's pretty much 2 aircraft that can be added. Of course, there are minor additions like the Alpha Jet and other minor things, but in a general sense, for top tier and going into the future, that's pretty much it. I already did a video talking about it. I will leave the link in the description probably or on a card, that I actually talk about the future of the German Air Force and what it can come to actually the tech tree itself. But you will notice that there isn't much to be added, you know, apart from a lot of versions of Typhoons and stuff. There's pretty much nothing else. And yeah, guys, if you are maybe starting the game right now and if you are trying to get to a top tier, I mean, I would suggest only getting Germany if you really want Germany. Like if you really want the German Eurofighter and the German MiG-29. Because it is going to be kind of a minor nation, unless, I mean, there is always the possibility of them adding another nation to it as a sub-nation. So maybe, I don't know, Poland. We already have a Polish tank in the German tech tree, right, with the Leopard 2PL in 11.3, right, as a tank. So maybe, yes, that could be a thing, you know, it would be a very interesting addition, the Polish aircraft. I mean, in general, it would be the same in a lot of senses. It would have basically the same, like, MiGs and stuff. But maybe afterwards, it would receive some other minor things that would be fairly cool to have in that area of the tech tree, right? So the F-16, for example, can be added. You know, something like that. Maybe, I don't know, as far as I know, the MiG-29s from the Polish Air Force were actually a little bit modernized, so maybe adding it would be cool as well, or something like that. But it's difficult to actually say if that would be even a good idea politically or, you know, overall, just if they want to, right? So unless they actually add something like this, another nation, I really doubt that we will see any other socialist, if you will, aircraft in the German tech tree, which is, I mean, just the L-39. I always forget the L-39, but it's just a trainer that it would be a minor aircraft, just like the Alpha Jet would be, right? It's nothing game-changing or anything like that, like the MiG-29 was, or like the Eurofighter will be. So yeah, kind of sad, to be honest. We're already at the peak of the East German Air Force, but I mean, there's nothing they can do, right? So, as I was saying, if you want to actually research one of the tech trees, I always suggest to go to the USA or the USSR. They're both the biggest nations and the nations that will always receive the most amount of vehicles. Germany was, and it still is, one of the main nations of the game, but the more we go into the future, the less you will receive stuff, and you can already see that with the tanks. A lot of people are complaining about the lack of the amount of top tier MBTs for Germany, and you can already kind of guess that in the aircraft department it will be kind of the same. So yeah, basically this is it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments, what do you think about the East German Air Force? Do you think there is anything else that I missed that might be added or not? And do you think a sub-nation like Poland or any nation could be added to Germany to actually supply them with a very good amount of aircraft in the future? And tanks even, right? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe as I said, and bye guys. See you.